oh shit, this guy's onto the truth about the vaccines.
Yeah, they give us like the Clockwork Orange like treatment where it's like we start to stumble upon some stuff that we shouldn't, and then they make us watch like like 24 hours worth of like vape Olympics videos, and like they're just like eye dropping you, and you're just like, hey, this isn't like fucked up, and it's not fucking up my head, but like I don't want to watch this anymore. And it actually does break you because you're just like, this is so boring, I can't believe this exists. yeah V games. I'm pretty sure that's a thing too.
No, it definitely is.
Yeah.
You don't need to look that up. You can if you want. But I know it's real. I've seen it. There's competitive tag. It's like they have tournaments, so they'll set up like a bunch of obstacles and stuff, and one guy's it, and it's usually like parkour athletes who take part in it, and they just play tag.
Nice.
I think it's a team sport. It's pretty intense. Like, it's awesome looking when you watch it, but then you remember, oh, this is tag.
It's just tag. Some of that parkour stuff is just like, these are just kids that were like really good at tag, or like what was the other?
They're gymnastics kids too.
Yeah, like what was the one game where it's like the floor is lava? Like you would play it at like the park or whatever.
The floor is lava is a show now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Should we just have that on in the background while we do this?
Might as well.
Hey,
actually, speaking of which, you want to actually switch seats because then I'll have the timestamp in front of me.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, we'll be right back, but you won't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
No, it's all right.
That's on now.
You ever try to shake things up with like, oh wow, did you know they have purple carrots or purple corn at the supermarket? And then you just find out why everyone does it a certain way.
What do you mean?
Like, you try something new, like for instance our chairs.
Yeah.
I was like, let's get crazy.
Yeah. Well,
we're shaking things up, and then immediately, like 4 minutes in, we're both like, I'm uncomfortable.
yeah. This is
Switched back.
yeah. Let's switch back. you were like, I'll let him feel like he's the captain of this, and then you're like, no, I don't like this. I don't, he needs to know that I'm the leader here.
I'm like, where do I put my coffee? Or like, where do I put the computer?
Yeah. He needs to know that I lord over him. Yeah. Do purple carrots suck or what?
They do. That is what I was
Like, is
trying
that
to
what?
get to.
Like, is it kind of a thing where like some people are like, yeah, people should respect all carrots, kind of like, you know, for all colors, but it's like, nah, the orange ones taste the best.
Yeah. Well, same with like, you try out like blood oranges, and you're like, oh, these are cool, and you know, you find out about blood oranges, and you're like, they're oranges that are bright red on the inside, so they look more like grapefruits, but they taste like oranges. But then once you get over the novelty of red oranges, then you're like, this is just a slightly less sweet orange.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's why we go for the oranges.
yeah, because they're sweet and
Or
they,
the big avocados.
yeah,
You see
right.
the giant ones, they don't taste good.
Well, yeah, because what? Like they're mutants, right? Like
Something like that.
Like
I don't know.
like isn't that genetically modified if they're like super large?
No, I think it's
Or
a
it's
different breed.
it's a certain type. Okay.
Yeah, and they are like just not tasty. I think maybe some people put them in smoothies or something.
Avocados are like the most frustrating things to own because you
Own?
yeah, because you buy them and you want them to be ready and you kind of like have to wait, and then there's like a 30-minute window where you're like actually able to eat them.
Yeah.
and then like they go from like really hard and like you know when you have to do that twist thing to pull like the fucking the pit out, and like all the shit sticks from like the pit on the inside, and you're like, oh, this
sometimes
isn't
that
gonna be
happens.
good.
Yeah.
And then it goes from that to like 30 minutes of like you could probably eat this and it's going to be actually like the best possible avocado ever. And then at the end of that 30 minutes, it turns into a brown, mushy fucking piece of shit. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the people at the supermarket always have like some trick. They're like, oh, you just take the top off, and if it's green, it's like, it's always green, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's green, and it still sucks.
Yeah, you just have to like you just kind of have to, which is the weird thing about like COVID stuff is like there's some things you just gotta touch. You know, like avocados, you sort of just need to like know if it's like firm or like a little bit squishy, because then you're like, okay, that's right.
Okay.
Like if you feel an avocado, it's got a little bit of give with like not that much pressure on it. That's when you know it's good. But
that's how you know when the COVID's good.
I'm just saying, like if you're at the supermarket and feeling all these things,
True.
it's not like they're sanitizing every avocado. Imagine being the guy at the supermarket who has to sanitize all the fruit. Like one by one, every apple, every orange.
If they say they do, I guarantee you they don't.
Oh yeah, 100%. They just go like they go over the whole fruit section with like the whole produce section with like one of those like crop dusters.
How long was it before you started feeling okay with putting stuff back on the shelf at the supermarket?
Well, immediately, but I'm not a nice person, so it's like like immediately I just like didn't.
I had
really
like
care.
a few months.
I think about it still, so I have an inkling of like good left of me, kind of like Anakin. There's like a little bit left at the end. There's still that nugget left, but like immediately I was just like, well, I don't know, man. It's not, you know what I mean? Like I'm doing the best I can. I sanitized my hands before I came in here. That's
true.
That's supposed to be the thing, right? So
yeah. What are you getting on the fruit?
Yeah,
if you already washed your hands.
Yeah,
you clean hands.
Yeah,
You're wearing a mask.
You're not just bacterial corpses, just all the dead bacteria.
Yeah,
it's just on the fruit now.
Oh, it's a dark scene in the microscopic realm on the fruit aisle.
Yeah, it's it's a boneyard.
So where do you see yourself in your path between pod racer and electrified
super villain? Yeah,
super villain.
Currently, I don't know. I'm the best star pilot in the galaxy.
Sick.
So that's where I'm at.
Right.
And
and that's Turbo League.
Yeah.
That's what you're referring to.
Yeah, sure. I don't know what that means.
Or what is it? Oh, shit. This bit would have worked better if I remembered the name of the game with like the RC cars that play soccer.
Oh, Rocket League.
Fuck.
Turbo League.
Right. If I had just said you're referring by starfighter pilot, you're referring to your Rocket League skills.
Yes.
That would have been good.
Yeah.
I'm not a professional comedian.
Yeah, it's so good, man. I should have known what you said. Given the amount of like Rocket League I do play, like I should have known immediately what you meant, but that's just that's what you get being the best star pilot in the galaxy is you're not that quick on yes-anding jokes. You're just better at shooting shit.
Yeah. So it's still the Pandy, bro. That was the subtitle of 2 episodes ago.
It's still the Pandy, bro?
It's the Pandy, bro.
Have we done... I honestly feel like I have amnesia through this whole thing. Have we done podcasts through it?
We did Snakes and Mikey.
Oh,
and did we do...
Yeah.
Did we do one that's just us?
I don't know. I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
I don't know. Why? Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think it was those 2, and then that's it. For some reason, you might have done one without me or something. Or you had plans to, and then they might. Have fallen
maybe
through.
I was just like talking like I have these significant thoughts. I'm gonna podcast them, Eric. Just letting you know. Don't feel bad if you don't get to come over. It's the Pandy, bro. Yeah. And I never did it.
Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I'm not saying anything. I'm going to eat a piece of this Kit Kat bar. Do drink water.
Brought to you by Toe Beans. Dude, A&W's coffee is actually... This is going to be a free plug for A&W.
Yeah.
A&W's coffee is actually really good. They were running like a promo, I think it was like last month, where like if you ordered on the mobile app, you just got like a free coffee any size with whatever you ordered.
Nice.
Which was like, that's cool. So I think I just got like a mama burger, and then like you could just pick any size of coffee and they would offer it. So I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll get a large, even if I don't drink it. Like,
yeah,
I'll feel like I got the value out of it.
Can you drink cold coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like in the summer and whatever, I get iced Americano anyways. 'Cause
yeah, I'll make a whole French press pot, and then usually there's like another cup full left over, and I'll just pour that into a mason jar, keep it in the fridge, and drink it the next morning.
Yeah. Yeah, I love coffee with like ice in it or whatever. I've never tried making like, I don't know why I've never done this, but I've never tried making like a
cold brew coffee.
No, I haven't done that either.
Me neither.
I don't know how that works.
I mean, when I make the coffee and put it in the fridge, it becomes cold coffee that's acceptable to my taste.
It's cold and it's brewed.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't see what I would do it over the course of like 48 hours or however they make it.
Yeah, but I've never done like a coffee like snowball type thing, like a slushy, you know, like in a Vitamix.
Yeah,
like just throwing like a bunch of ice and like the coffee that you had from the day before or something. I feel like that would be almost okay.
I've done coffee-based smoothies.
Okay,
there's like this like chocolate vegan protein powder I really like. It's not just a protein powder. It's kind of like an all-around good stuff meal replacement type deal. And then I'll do like a banana and a cold coffee and some of that chocolate stuff.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just thinking like, you know, when you do like a French press, you get kind of like you get like the cremies at the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, it just happens, you know. But I feel like I wouldn't mind that, like
in the smoothie form.
In the smoothie form, because it's just like, you know, like when you have like a you know, whatever smoothie booster juice type thing, you're gonna get seeds and shit anyway. So it's like coffee grounds wouldn't bother me in that context.
You ever just eat a coffee bean?
No.
Yeah.
No, I haven't done that. Why haven't I done that?
I don't know.
Is it good?
Yeah, I mean it's really bitter. It's like it's the pure form of
it's just
what you're tasting in a coffee.
Black
right?
tar coffee.
Yeah, so if you don't like black coffee, then I'm not going to tell you it's good. But if you need that darkness in your life,
straight to the vein,
then you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah. That'd be so hardcore to fucking crush up like three or four coffee beans, get them really crushed up in like maybe even like in one of those like mortar and pestle type things, and then you put it in a spoon and then put a little water in, boil it with a fucking lighter, and then just inject that shit, like see what happens.
Yeah.
What do you think would happen? Do you think you'd die, or do you think you would just get really fucked up? Because
video of guy injecting intravenous caffeine.
Google has to have it. It's a rule. They have everything. Google has everything.
There's a New York Daily News article.
Dude, I'm in this like group on Instagram, this like group message with like Taylor Lucas, the guy who did like the Zero Fire videos, and Scott Marsh is in there, Graham is in there. I should just invite you to it. I don't know why you're not in it. Quentin's in it. This guy Cole from I think he was in Big Lonely or something. Anyways, bunch of like drummer guys and like just music dudes or whatever. And it's Taylor started it, so it was a dumb name, but it's called Latest Pock. So it's like all your latest like pocket drumming videos, like really tight drumming videos and stuff. And Taylor
sounds like a rip off of Grubin to me.
Yeah. It's bullshit. he actually posted a video recently and he put hashtag Groob, and then I commented hashtag Groovin', because as like I should have put like the asterisk, because it's like, get with the program, bro. I've been doing this shit for years. I'm posting this stuff forever. But shit, what was I saying? Oh yeah, he posted this video of like, I don't know, this guy posted this video of him drumming in like some like very renowned room for the reverb that it gets or something. And the beat he was playing was just very generic, and then like it was kind of like a generic like and then Taylor was like, that's just the soundtrack to like every NHL game. Like he said that drum beat is just like, and like the sound of it too, the sound of the drums. And I was like, I couldn't. It reminded me of a song, and the song it reminded me of was Gary Glitter, Rock and Roll Part 2, but I didn't know what it was called. I just knew it was da-na-na-na, hey. So I Googled da-na-na-na, hey, and Google gave me exactly what it was. Like in terms of machine learning, how do you contextually explain that to like a machine to be like, yeah, this idiot, is looking for this stupid song.
Because enough people have done it where it just confirmed that link.
Yeah.
It's like a brain, right? If you burn your hand on a stove like once, almost automatically you have received the message, don't touch stove.
Yeah, don't do that again.
So it's just like Google Analytics or whatever. The software is just watching people type into na and then go down this rabbit hole until they hit Gary Glitter, History of Rock and Roll Part 1 or whatever the fuck,
and that stops the search wormhole, and then that confirms to
porn.
That can the check mark at the end of it is the synapse ends. Porn is being watched, therefore the end was met. Yeah, you reached the end of whatever you were trying to do.
so then the next time when it's can you turn down the main?
Oh yeah,
there a bit.
This one?
Yeah. Let's see how that goes.
Hey.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah, that didn't peak it. So.
Yeah, sorry, I'm laughing in the mic like an asshole.
Yeah, I'm trying to laugh off mic. Yeah, right. So if it starts with na 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 hey, and then 2-3 times in a row it watches someone's search continue until it ends at that.
Yeah.
Then it just shortens that search, I think.
Yeah, it just tracks it the whole time. And then it's like enough times it's like a confirmation thing, and it's like, no, this is definitely what enough stupid idiot people have just said na 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 hey.
Yeah.
That I know that this is this stupid child molester's song.
In case you didn't know.
Yeah. Dude, I was reading, because like the second that I read that name, there was something in the back of my head where I've heard about this guy before and all the bad shit that he's done, but I don't personally know about it. So then I kind of just dove into the Wikipedia page, and I was like, dude, ew.
If I recall correctly, it was I think he's English, right?
Yeah.
And the guy wasn't breaking any laws, but the English government was just like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Even if you're doing this shit in other countries, we're putting you in jail.
Yeah. Which is almost like it's weird, because you're almost on the fence of like, I mean, not that it would be happening to me, but if it was like some other shitty situation that's like not about fucking kids or whatever, like something else that's like way more
like
pure.
You go to Cocaine Island to do cocaine.
Yeah, sure.
And then your government is like, cocaine's illegal here.
Yeah.
You're under arrest.
And we have like some weird proof of that you did it elsewhere, but you weren't here, aka within our jurisdiction, but we're still just going to throw you in jail. You would hope that there would be like a change.org petition to like get you out.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it was very weird. And also there's no lyrics in that song, so fuck that guy. He's a talentless fucker.
He didn't even write the song. Someone else wrote the instrumentals. He got the credit for the hey.
Really?
Yeah, it's just this fucking...
So he probably made I mean, that song's pretty renowned, so he probably made like a shit ton off of that. But he's been like just cutting out royalties to some other people for it too.
Yeah,
that's interesting. I would actually love to know like statistics on like top songs that like made the most, but that like had the most like filtration into like multiple royalty like sources or whatever. Because it has to be pretty crazy like in terms of like song like
yeah. You look at like a Beyonce tune and there's like 16 writers on it sometimes.
Yeah. So you would almost think like does that person get paid in advance, or do they always get royalties, or would that be on a like case by case basis where you like lawyer it up and
it's case by case.
Yeah.
And for example, I'm going to say this is hearsay, but because I don't remember the source, but I remember it being reliable. So, but Taylor Swift just like buying songs,
Right.
and there are artists who do that where they're like, I'll give you 50 grand and this is my song now and you can just fuck off forever. And, if you're a broke ass musician type and you're just like, fuck yeah, 50 grand to fuck off forever. You can have this little piece of my soul.
Yeah. True. Yeah. I mean, that would be on both sides, right? Like you would kind of have a quarrel between like whatever the artist's label is and whatever your agent or whatever as like a songwriter or a what do they call that? They call it when they put it into like commercials and stuff. What's that called?
Product, not placement.
Yeah, I guess placement, but it's called something else. I don't know. Evan
licensing.
Yeah, licensing. That's what it was. I was going to say Evan used to say it all the time. And I'm like that's my like one reference for that kind of stuff. Cause like we were always like, especially in still life, like we were always trying to think on that level, like, cause he writes songs that are that catchy.
He's thinking like, can this be the next song for the OC?
Yeah. Or like, could this fit in like a car commercial somewhere or,
oh,
like he's not thinking on that level, but it's like that's what you would
next Black Keys album just called Ford commercial.
Yeah, Ford. Yeah, Ford Cranberry Key.
Jeep Grand Cranberry.
Jeep Cranberry in the key of whatever.
1 2 1 2 3 4 bump bump
yeah. Dude, the beginning of that song's so dumb. It's just like it's like it's like no, but it takes so long to build up and like and you just have people in the back like and there's no lyrics. Like it's like
what if you search na 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 and get is it Wilson Pickett? Na na.
Oh
na,
yeah. I'll see if I can do that.
Na.
Yeah, it's Land of a Thousand Dances. I know that because I used to cover that in Hotfix.
Oh yeah, try to find it without. With only nods.
And I'll do it with the pauses, like the spaces in between, and it'll definitely know. Like there's no nah. My Chemical Romance, na 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 comes up.
Oh. MCR is pretty good.
Oh yeah, okay. Right after all the My Chemical Romance, na na na. It's just because that's like a text thing, so it goes like text key first.
Yeah,
and then it was like popular results. What song goes na 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 na? Land of a Thousand Dances. What original question? What is the name of the song that goes something like na na? Na 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 na. That's not the beat.
Oh,
in musically illiterate dickheads.
Wait, that's not what you typed in?
No. I wrote na 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 na, which is the true pattern. Because I'm in authenticity.
Na, 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 na,
that's a great song, actually. I used to like do this like because like that song's just like two parts, and it's just like it's like a verse. There's not even really a chorus, or maybe there's not even a verse because it's like all there's one stupid big. No, there's definitely a verse. So, but I guess chorus is the na 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 part, but it really doesn't feel like it because it's more of like a breakdown.
Yeah.
You know? But anyways, you would do it like, you do it back, forth, like A, B, and then I would do this like huge drum break and then just kind of rock out on the ending of it. I love songs like that, especially covering them. It's just so easy, dude. Like, there's nothing better than like, well, I mean, there's a lot better in terms of like getting your original music into people and like actually getting them to enjoy it and like getting pretty successful doing that. But like in terms of like being a weekend warrior, there's nothing better than like just playing like the easiest shit that's like actually easy to play. You do enjoy it.
Yeah.
And like it just like makes people dance. Like songs like that are just so easy because you don't even have to think about it, and you're getting paid like $100 to do it.
There is such an art to writing a 4-chord song, and everyone who doesn't believe that,
Yeah,
can just fuck off and write me a hit song, and actually they can't, so they can just fuck off. Like that whole thing, oh, this is just a 3-chord song, anyone can do that. Okay,
yeah,
do it.
yeah. Do it then.
What, you don't like millions of dollars?
Yeah, what's the excuse? It's 3 chords. Learn them.
It's not like, okay, so like put down your genius hat for 4 seconds and bang out one of these 4-chord songs and just have millions of dollars to make shitty jazz music for the rest of your life. I'm partially talking to myself.
I'm actually screaming at myself. I'm screaming at my other personality right now. You idiot, stop it with this stoner metal bullshit. You know your true calling is to write country songs.
These go to 11. What?
What? I'm a millennial. I don't know what that means.
Has your tinnitus also been less bad since we barely practice anymore and never play shows?
I don't know. It could be. But my tinnitus.
We learned that on the Keiko Gutierrez episode.
Yeah. I don't like calling it that. Like I like tinnitus more.
It fucks with your groove.
Yeah.
Because it sounds, we have like North American accents, and when you just go tinnitus, it sounds, I don't know.
Maybe, I guess tinnitus maybe sounds better with like a British accent or like something.
Yeah.
You know? Or like a, you know, even like a South African accent or something like that would be cool. And I'm not going to try to do that, but yeah, my tinnitus exists on such like an existential level in my head. Like it's like this like
it's part of who you are now.
Yeah, it's just there that like I don't know if it's better or worse. Every once in a while I get that thing where your hearing goes, like you're just sitting in like a quiet room and all of a sudden your hearing goes and then you're just like, oh, I just lost some. That, like in terms of like a EQ, it's like, you know, like the bass heads, or like the bass head I have in my the Ampeg bass head I have in my basement. It's like that EQ selector up at the top. It's just like every time one of those goes off, you just like dip it. You duck like one portion of it, like the 100K.
So someone just walked by and just like pushed one all the way down and one all the way up. And they're like, there you go.
Yeah, some drunk dickhead at a bar. He's just like fucking with. He's like,
and they're like, no, I'm standing behind the drum kit. I can't reach it to fix it.
Yeah. he's like been staring at it from the back of the room. He's just like, oh, I want to touch that. I want to fuck with that thing.
Dude, you see that go down in people's heads sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, you know, this person's energy is about something in my personal sphere.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just like waiting for the right moment to fuck with your shit.
It's funny, actually, like, bring up Evan again. Like, he was texting me recently, and like, we were talking about like dudes at bars who legitimately, like, this has to be, I don't know. There's got to be something up in your head that always exists there, but that alcohol just brings it out. Like, it has to be there. But this thing that guys do, it's not just guys, but it's mostly guys. They'll I don't know if they're thinking about it consciously or what, subconsciously, but they'll like walk up to the singer literally while you're singing a song. You're doing your job, and they're like having a conversation with you.
Yeah.
Like they're like, yo, I want you to play this AC/DC song, and you're like actually singing like a full tune the whole time, looking at them, staring at them, watching.
You're just like, don't stop believing, and you're still singing, and they look up to you, and you're trying not to be a dick, and they're just like, where did you get that guitar? My cousin has one just like it, and I also was on to that feeling. And like, I think he got it on sale because he doesn't make a lot of money.
Yeah, could you guys play Enter Sandman next? I like that song. It's like, dude, I'm playing fucking.
Like, I'd say read the room, but your job isn't to read the. In fact, you don't have a job here at all.
Yeah,
you just keep drinking, please.
Yeah. Yeah, this is you exploiting your income from your job. So just do that away from me.
I was playing a show at 2's with Evan, and the room just demanded Wheat Kings, so I gave it to them, and then this guy walked up and started yelling at me the lyrics from the first verse while I was singing the second verse. And I did persistently too. So that was weird, man. It was weird and like kind of traumatizing because it was not to, belittle trauma like that, but it was just like such a weird, helpless situation where like, what the fuck do I do here? Like, I literally can't finish. Like, when there's other words and then you start seeing the pattern in those words, so you're like, oh, this is the first verse, but he hears me singing the second verse.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm trying to say, I'm just going to look it up quick.
Yeah, so because the words in the second verse are different from the first, obviously the rhythmic pattern is different, and then
But the melody's the same.
Right, the melody is the same, and like
So I'm like, his Zippo lighter he sees, and he's like, in the Paris of the prairies.
Yeah, so
maybe it's someone said, all treasures buried.
Yeah, you're just like, man. Dude, that's the kind of shit that like Danny Carey can do with all of his limbs all at once. He can do all the different. He can do like he can do
all four verses of Wheat Kings.
Yeah, he can do the first and second verses of Wheat Kings on his hands, and the third and fourth on his right and left feet. Yeah, exactly.
It makes sense of that, you stupid listeners.
Yeah, you dummies. Go listen to Gary Glitter. Dude, Wheat Kings is a good song.
Just kidding. Thank you for everyone who's been listening.
Did you have you always, do you like Tragically Hip or no?
I made a conscious decision to enjoy the music of the Tragically Hip, and I have no regrets.
Okay, yeah.
It's very hard to be a Canadian citizen and not like the hip. Mm-hmm. So I was just like, you guys won this battle.
Yeah.
And then also like a song like Wheat Kings, when you look at just kind of to me, when I first heard it, it just seemed like the prototypical dad band.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't listen
I think
to this.
that was my apprehension towards listening to them first too.
Yeah.
Or just.
So
really
you're the same as me, where like you're a legit
also,
fan now.
I did not like Gord Downey's voice at first. Like something about it just really drove me nuts. And I know what it is now. I didn't like his vibrato. Like there's something about it I just didn't like. But the older I got, the more I just decided to like it, which is how it goes. Like I'm like that with everything. Like I'm like that with music. I'm like that with TV shows. Like I'm just like apprehensive towards it, and then all of a sudden I just convince myself that I'm gonna get into it, and then once I'm like, I'm gonna do this, I like it immediately. It's like you just have to make that conscious decision, like you said.
Yeah. Well, because you can see other people enjoying it, and then you just kind of retrace their steps.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is the soundtrack to all of their days out camping with their parents. They're listening to Road Apples while they're grilling hot dogs and like marshmallows by the fireplace.
Yeah.
And you can see this experience that other people are having it, and you can see that as a soundtrack to these positive experiences.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna stop being a negative Nelly.
Yeah.
And enjoy the Tragically Hip.
Yeah, I think actually what did it for me was like the final like the final like stake driven into my like heart against that band. So if my hatred or like apprehension towards the Tragically Hip existed as like a vampire, the actual the actual stake driven in its heart was their like last show that they did, and it was broadcast on CBC, and I just happened to be up at a cottage at the time and just watched it at the end of like a good day.
They brought literally the whole country together.
Yeah, and you're just
called
like
out the prime minister for not doing the hero shit that he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
When he got voted in, still hasn't done.
Yeah. But and I mean, I guess thank God that he like legalized weed, but I mean like it was basically legal on like a gray area scale.
He also made like
and I feel like that was
other synthetic drugs illegal.
Yeah.
In the process.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Just like under the rug.
Just shit like there was like a synthetic psilocybin that the people would like order off the internet and shit, which was just like existed in a legal gray area, and he's like, you can go to jail for this now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Trudeau doesn't sit there and make these decisions. Just
it's on a higher level than him, but he has to sign the thing, right? Yeah.
Oh, you think higher level?
Or I mean,
I don't know what
not higher level. I mean, in terms of like his like. This
I
is
don't
the
think
thing.
he
This
thinks
is
about
this
that
is
shit.
that's what I'm saying. Like the thing with like people getting on like Justin Trudeau or even Donald Trump, like they get really into like, oh, he wants this to happen, so he's a bad person, or like he's good because he did this thing. It's like you have so many people underneath you or at the same level as you, whatever way you want to look at it. Like if you want to look at it like a Last Supper scenario where it's like all of them are kind of like working together or like they're all at the table for a reason because they're like elected to that level. But like there's health, like the top health advisors and there's the top finance advisors and all those people that make those decisions. And he just kind of has to like, he does get the final say, but at the end of the day, it's like he has so much other shit because he's like the CEO of a company or the president of a company. They used to be like a lackey, so they used to understand like how shit worked back then kind of thing, but like they get thrusted to the top and then it's like they can't know the little details all the time like when they're up there cuz like I mean this is like a stupid analogy, but it's like the stuff changes as they're on their way up. So it's like once they're up there, it's like they don't know like all the specific little dealings and whatever. Yeah. And then like some employees almost resent like a president of a company for that, but it's like not their fault. They have like a top down view of the company. That's just the way it works, So it's the same thing with like a president or a prime minister. It's like they're kind of just like the scapegoat or the visual punching bag for like all the bad decisions or good decisions that like the entire top level makes, right? Like it's, I don't know.
They don't interact with these millions of people. They interact with like 150 people who oversee like 50 other people who each oversee the overseers of little territories of a couple of thousand people.
Yeah, right.
And all of those territories, all sorts of jobs are dished out among everyone, and everyone just kind of does their own thing until someone else says, hey, why are you doing it that way?
Yeah, right.
And to credit it, you can't give that much credit to any one human being. Like Donald Trump isn't just sitting there with like a billion strings attached to his fingers like this like genius puppet master. he's just like, oh, I'm gonna fucking get better at golf this week.
That's
and
kind of the
talk some
irony
shit
of
on
it.
Twitter.
Is that's kind of the irony of it is like it's like a catch-22 in terms of people being like, oh, he's such a fucking idiot. But then they're also like, oh, he's so conniving. It's like, which one is it? Like, is he really thinking on this world domination scale, or is he just a bonehead? Like, which one? You can't be both, in my opinion. Like, I guess no, you can't. You can't be thinking on that level of like evil. It's not good, but in terms of like evilness or like bad things, you can't be thinking on that level all the time. Like, I couldn't. That's like I get tired, you know.
I'm sure there are people like there's so much variance in people's personalities, and then there's just those 1% of 1% outliers who I'm sure just literally even dream evil. Like they tuck themselves into bed thinking about, ooh, I'm gonna evict a poor family tonight from their what do you call it? Housing.
My dad told me this thing recently that was like, I can't remember what it's called. Peter Principle. Have you heard of this? So it's like this concept of like, it's kind of what I was
borrowing money or no?
No, it's this concept of like kind of going back to like the company analogy, like people get promoted past their capabilities. So it's like you start off with like a high level, at low level in the company, but like a high level of capability because you're like, you know, you're moving the most amount of like, let's say if it's a chessboard, it's pawns, right?
Yeah.
You're moving the most amount of pawns, doing that like frontline work and shit. And then as you get promoted, you're dealing with like higher level stuff, maybe bigger projects, but like on a top down level where you're not moving a high amount of individual pieces, but you're overseeing like one big thing at a time or a couple big things at a time.
Right.
So it's less.
You're directing the goals of the pieces themselves.
Yeah.
Right. So now you're above someone who's in the position you used to be.
Yeah.
Right. Where that person's overseeing 100 people, but you tell that person what to tell them to do.
Yeah.
So it's like you're moving one piece now, but this one piece, and like with chess, I always think about this. When I was a kid, I used to think of, a chessboard as being like a little battle between two teams of like 16 fighters. But now I think of it like two countries going to war, and each piece represents a city that, specializes in something.
Okay.
Right? So you're moving these, it's like representative of something much bigger. One piece isn't one warrior. It's, a town of hundreds of peons if they're peasants, or a knight is like a battalion of cavalry.
Okay. Yeah.
But back to
so anyways, it's just this concept of like, and it doesn't have to be a company, it could be anything, right? But it's like in anything that exists as like a hierarchy or something, right? Where somebody has the power to like promote someone else, kind of thing. Doesn't have to be a company, doesn't have to be like a corporation or anything. But so it's this thing of like people getting risen to a level of incompetence. So employees are promoted based on their success in previous jobs until they reach a level where they're no longer competent. It's just like a concept or whatever. It's like it doesn't technically have to be right, and it's probably one of those things where people debate it or whatever.
What's the story that's based on?
I don't know. I guess it's just based on like some research, like some probably developed concept and management developed by Lawrence J. Peter, which observes that people in a hierarchy tend to rise to their level of incompetence.
Okay, I thought it was like a biblical thing, because there's like the Matthew principle, and then there's like the there's also like the Peter Paul principle, or like you borrow from Peter to pay to Paul, or something like that.
Oh yeah, I have heard that.
Maybe that was two different names, but they were also like biblical names. But that's also just means like any white guy.
Borrow Peter's wife and don't tell him about it. that's the Paul. That's the Peter fucking Paul scenario. That's terrible. Do drink water.
Do drink water.
Bean water. That's some good bean water.
Oh, speaking of.
But yeah, like A&W. I didn't finish my A&W coffee plug. We went on a tangent. A&W's coffee actually tastes really good. It's definitely better than Tim Hortons. So fuck Tim Hortons. But you know what it is. Do you like Tim Hortons? Yes, no.
So that's another thing.
Or do you like the
tragically
or do you like the
where,
memory of it?
Yeah, that's what everyone who still says they like Tim Hortons is just sadly hanging on to this memory of this Canadian symbol where they baked their own donuts in stock and made their own chili and stuff, and like they've moved from frozen chili to powdered chili.
Yeah.
They sold the company to a Brazilian conglomerate owned by a U.S. oil giant. Like there's nothing Canadian about this company.
Doesn't Burger King like own part of like, or the company that owns Burger King own part of?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm waiting for that Boston cream Whopper crossover. I wonder if that'd be good. Like,
Donut Monster's gonna do it first.
Yeah,
they're gonna
they
be
should.
like, this donut's filled with ketchup. There's roast beef on top of it.
Dude, I honestly like. There's so many things, and I mean like. Like you're a vegetarian, so it's like that shit's kind of gross to you anyways, like that kind of like meaty like fast food grossness. But like some of that stuff is really terrible on paper, but then you try it out and you're just like, this kind of works. It's stupid. Yeah. It's stupid, but it does. Like the stupid the KFC Double Down, and you're just like, that's disgusting, but people like actually like it and shit.
Gross.
or like a burger made with like 2 donuts or fucking 2 grilled cheeses. You're just like, this is just gluttony, but it's actually working for some reason. I wonder if a double Boston cream Whopper would actually taste pretty good.
It's just blasting its goo all over your face.
Just like the cream. The cream is gonna melt into the burger a bit.
And then like Boston cream mingles with mayo and this. Let's try to sell that.
Let's try and sell this. Yeah, that's disgusting. But
so just describe that bite in slow motion. You got 2 Boston creams, chocolate side in, enveloping a Whopper. So that's quarter pounds of beef, lettuce, mayonnaise,
tomato,
tomato, ketchup, onion. And bacon, right? Is it bacon on a Whopper, or is that a bacon Whopper?
I think you can get it. You can get it.
Well, let's say it's a bacon Whopper.
Yeah.
So your teeth penetrate the yeast donut. And you're like, sweet.
Moves into the Venetian cream.
Yeah. Moves into the Venetian cream and then out through the chocolate fondant. Now mingling with ketchup and mayonnaise as you tear through the lettuce and bacon. And then you get to that beefy center and just bite a chunk out of that, and
it's like an animal falling to the earth and just Mother Earth just pulling it back into the soil. It's like everything's just layers of sedimentary grossness.
Dude, I was talking to Crystal a couple of days ago, and
by the way, sorry, this is why Tim Hortons is fucking up that they don't have
fuck Tim Hortons.
us driving their ship. They don't have me and you and I creating amazing things for their stupid company. Like that whole concept. That's $1 million item right there.
Yeah. So they should hire us.
Yeah.
And we'd be very competent at that job, and then they should promote us until we're so incompetent that they fire us with severance.
And we're already starting pretty fucking incompetent.
Yeah.
But once we get to the top, we're going to be so stupid from smoking dirty smoke.
Why do we have a 3-hour board meeting booked? Oh, these two guys are going to pitch us a $1 trillion idea. So, well, $1 trillion, you got to give that the time of day. All right, let's hear it. And we're like, mayonnaise in the Boston cream.
Yeah. You already own the rights. You might as well start Venn diagramming these companies together. Why not? Anyway, sorry, you were saying something Crystal was saying to you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so I don't know why I said this. I think we had been listening to a podcast and it ended and we were just sitting there. And I was like, people always ask this question, like, what food would you eat for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
And that's such a stupid question that to me demands so many sub-questions that I don't understand what you gain from someone answering this. What is it telling you about their personality? And who just answers it? Like, okay, I could just be like, okay, I really like sushi, but I'm going to put a lot of thought into this. And like, what's a food? Is it an exact food? Like, say, I say, oh, that cheesecake my mom made on Christmas Eve in 1998, and I have that. Like, do I die of malnutrition from eating only cheesecake? Do I get complications, or do I have to pick something healthy? Or
does it exist in a realm where, like, you could survive off of just that one food group kind of thing?
Yeah. And if not, then I have to pick something smart. And if it's not an exact food, if it's not like a replicator making this exact same meal day in, day out, if I just say something like sushi, that's just rice and something inside of it. Right? Or you say
so
pizza
sushi
or
is almost
salad.
like sushi or pizza is almost kind of like a catch-all because you can just throw whatever the fuck you want on it, like,
Exactly. And it's like literally, I want a dessert pizza. I want an ice cream pizza. I want a pizza. You ever have one of those shawarma pizzas that's just they make a salad on top of the pizza, and then I'm just not going to eat the bread today.
Yeah,
I'm going to have the salad pizza. I'm going to have a pizza.
Well, see,
I'm going to have a ribeye steak pizza where you grill the meat and just put a steak on top of the pizza, and I'm just going to eat that part of the pizza.
My pick immediately was, when you started talking about this, my mind immediately defaulted to tacos, but that's another one of those things where it's like, I mean, is it just is it just like white family fucking Tuesday night taco night, like where it's just straight up ground beef with like Clubhouse seasoning, and like iceberg lettuce, and like some chopped up tomatoes, like old El Paso salsa, and like a little bit of like 14% sour cream? Or is it like what tacos has grown into? Tacos is now a multinational corporation that has all levels of like food fusion. Like there's Asian fusion tacos and fucking all this different type of shit. So tacos is another one of those catch-alls where it's like you can put anything in that. Exactly. You can make like a cotton candy taco and just put cotton candy in the middle of it.
And you know what she said that just was the last thing that needed to be said in that whole conversation about that stupid question?
What?
It all turns to soup when you eat it.
That's true. Everything is soup.
Yeah.
I've actually or chili. It's like chili. It's like stomach chili. Dude, I was talking to Evan's dad. Man, I've talked about Evan so much on this podcast.
We missed you, Evan. Let's call him.
Yeah, where is he? I was talking because his dad's funny as fuck. Have you ever met him?
I don't know if I've met him, but I've heard so many Evan's dad stories that I feel like I know him well, and I could just be imagining it, or it could have, if I met him, it was like some years ago.
Yeah. He's just like, I mean, Evan's naturally funny, so you can imagine where he gets it from. He's just super funny. He's also got like a dirty British accent, which always makes something like 0.5 funnier.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he posted something on my wall that was basically, I don't know, but it got me thinking about, like, I've thought about this a lot actually in my life, is like food, when it's presented to you, it's appealing because it's presented to you in a certain way, but you would never eat it in the way that it ends up. So you just chew it up and whatever fucking, like, you know, save for like acid in your stomach and stuff. If you could somehow filter all the like gross acid and shit out and just have it in like the chewed up, chopped up, you know, you'd like drink a coffee and have have like a bagel sandwich and then have like a juice or something for dessert, a drink or something. You would never ever eat that in the way that it ends up. So this soupy fucking coffee juice mess, you'd just be like, that's fucking disgusting. But you'll do it one by one because it's like presented to you in a certain way, and obviously the taste profile. But yeah,
you get these separate mouth feels.
Yeah,
mouthfeel is important.
It is.
I haven't watched. I didn't get past a certain season of Bob's Burgers. It just became unwatchable to me. But I always appreciated that they just kept trying to like shoehorn the word mouthfeel into every episode.
Mouthfeel. Mouthfeel is one of those words that like I don't think I heard it until 2 years ago, and ever since then I've heard it like a billion times, and I'm like, where did this fucking word come from? Like, you ever like look up a word on Google and then you see the graph of
the usage
over time
shoot up?
What is that based on? Like, is it really scouring? I mean, it probably does. Is it scouring all the documentation, all the documented uses of that word over time, and like cross-referencing it with like, you know, books and the date
all books that have been digitally inputted?
Yeah, and like the date, and then cross-references with the usage of the word, and then it just averages it out. Like, is that how it works? I guess.
But it probably also gets skewed from what it really is, because I bet a lot of the metadata presents some of that stuff as when it was inputted rather than when it was written.
Yeah. There's lots of room for error.
Yeah, but still super interesting. Or like name usages, like in like 1996, girls named Brittany just shot up 1 billion %.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just parents in 1996 are like, oh, I want my daughter to be a little slut too. Just kidding.
The name Posh started existing.
Posh Spice Thorkelson. That's my daughter's name.
Spice is a good middle name.
It is or isn't?
It is.
It is, yeah. Just okay, Nathan Spice Mishkovsky.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is the new thing, I think. That chord right there allows us to. We tested it before. I think we even tested it in an episode, and then we haven't done it in a while. And I don't know if we all hear the conversation, or if they can hear us even.
Well, I think
it has to be on speakerphone, so it's like we have to be speaking,
and it's going to bleed into the mic a little bit too.
No, but the audio goes straight out into the DAW.
Oh,
so remember when we tested it, the sound quality was like really good. Mm-hmm. It just that chord's a little jacked up though.
Yeah.
So we'd have to get a new chord like that, and yeah, I'm thinking we'll call people who have things, and I know it's in the future. You don't just call people out of the blue. We're in the future now, not the present. Because we're old. You just call. Yeah, we'll schedule calls with people when we know we're doing this, maybe. Or yeah, and then
or just give them like a heads up, like a day in advance or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
see if they're cool with it.
Yeah, just like a few people, and then maybe one of them has time for it or something like that.
Yeah, do stuff like that, and then like probably just try and like do like shorter, more concise episodes where we're like, I mean, we didn't talk about anything specific, but the conversation was pretty smooth on this one.
I think so. What do you think?
you talking to me? Or?
No, I'm talking to the listener.
Okay.
It's
Hold,
weird.
Hold for thoughts.
It's weird. Yeah. We're holding space for you to formulate your own.
15 seconds of silence for thoughts. All the thoughts out there.
I've been playing speed chess lately, and 15 seconds is a long time. If you take 15 seconds on a move in bullet chess, you've already lost the game, basically. I don't know why.
It's weird. It's weird how the
topic.
It's
like
weird
that.
how the mind contextualizes time and what adrenaline does to that. Like, because when I was doing that stand-up program at Second City, going in,
public speaking's huge.
Yeah, going in 5 minutes felt like an eternity. And filling up the 5 minutes was like actually tough. But then once you like finish everything, you got it like pretty tight together or whatever. Being on stage, because your adrenaline's kicking in, it goes by like a fucking flash, and you're just like,
you rip through your planned 5 minutes.
Yeah, and you're
like
talking
2:10.
way too quick, and like, yeah.
Your hold for applause is like that short.
Yeah. And like the thing about it is too is like going in, you have less bits, but you're like trying to stretch them out, and it feels really awkward. So it feels like it's going a lot longer. But then by the end of it, it's like that thing where you have like the slab of marble and you should have been chopping it up a little bit to make a statue, but like you're so new to it that you got the slab of marble, didn't do anything with it, and then presented it back.
Yeah.
and so because you're talking faster, you're like trying to jam all the stuff that you think is good in, but you really should have just spent more time on like 3 really good bits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like came up with more tags,
and
or, like,
that can
make it
be
funny.
That can be a bit in itself, where if it's known that you have 5 minutes and you act like you're not using up that time, like a Stephen Wright type character would do something like that, where the joke is that they're not using this time wisely.
Yeah.
And they're just going to sit there and be comfortable in this situation that would make everyone else squirm.
Stephen Wright is like
fucking genius.
That guy's like Mitch Hedberg level of just that guy's got like 500 like journals that he's written of just like straight one-liner jokes.
Yeah.
And they're all like, dude, writing like that is tough because you dumpster all this material into like a notepad or like a journal or whatever. And it's got to be a little easier because now with like computers and stuff, you can use like a note-taking program where you tag certain things, and then like you could just like probably export that kind of shit into like Excel, and then like filter by like time that you wrote it, and then the tag of like whatever context this is. And then you could marry
type A creatives who are just destined for greatness.
Yeah, you could just
creative, and they can organize their shit.
You could just stack like themes and whatever. But I mean, obviously they didn't really have that kind of stuff back in the day. So like writing on that level, you would have to have like 10 notebooks going.
Stephen Wright would unexpectedly connect his one-liners too.
Oh yeah,
that's something that Mitch Hedberg basically never did. Whereas Stephen Wright would like introduce this obscure, seemingly made up off the top of his head character to make a bit work, and then that character appears again 5 minutes later in another one-liner.
Yeah, that's kind of like a true freestyle rapper versus somebody who like needs to like write it all out and have it, whatever. Like Eminem is good at freestyling because he's done it so many times. I remember like listening to Chris D'Elia talk about we don't talk about him. I remember listening to Chris D'Elia talk to, I think it was probably Brian Callen, who we also don't talk about anymore. Talk about like it was probably on like Fighter and the Kid, which we also don't talk. No, it's still going.
We don't talk about it because it's just not.
Yeah. But they were talking about like kind of freestyling, and like, do you think that you're literally all of that stuff is literally coming to you in the moment, or is it just you've connected these synapses enough times that it's like, you know how like when you like smoke some weed and like time feels like it stretches out.
Yeah.
Like it feels like you stretch out a timeline, and it's just like you concentrating on things more on a micro level. But like those guys are able to like they've put these rhymes together enough times that it's like they can do contextual actual rhymes in a sequence, and it's going to make sense and everything just because they've done that enough times. You know, it's like repetition thing or whatever.
Yeah, well, it's how they think,
Yeah.
right? It's like how thoughts unravel in their heads.
Yeah.
So they have all these rhymes and they have these rhythms, and they know how to keep flowing for long enough until they accidentally chuck a rhyme in there. So it more becomes their mode of speech, and they're actually like going from point A to point B with style.
Yeah.
As opposed to some people think it's like they're going from rhyme to rhyme.
Well, that's the other thing too, is like style has so much style, or like your you know, the way the specific way you kind of like vocalize has so much to do with it, because like you know, like somebody like Kanye doesn't always actually rhyme a word that rhymes, but the way he says it, he makes it rhyme because he's such a cocky dick anyways. He's like I'm gonna rhyme hat with yeah or whatever. But like it's the way that you twang the word, like it makes it rhyme.
Like Eminem's rhymes with orange thing. I don't remember when he did that, but he just flexed like that he can rhyme a bunch, like he can use orange as like the pivotal thing that he's going to rhyme everything with.
Oh, I never seen that.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this this guy Millies. He's like a I think Irish New Yorker Boston guy, and his I don't know. I'm like trying not to get these. I don't know if that'll probably get taken down for sure, but. This.
Like I'm M in the flesh. They was jumping off the porch. We had work on the steps. Smoking ports to the filter, drinking Henny for stress. Rest in peace, Breonna Taylor. Can we get in the rest?
And it's like topical. He gets into like what's going on in like coronavirus New York, and he had like the Breonna Taylor line in there, and it's like stuff that's in the moment about like rapping on I-95.
Yeah. Dude, I love those like the like Sway in the Morning freestyles and stuff. I don't know if you've seen those or whatever.
I've
like
watched a lot of those.
Those are really good, man. Like, well, a lot of time again, it's kind of like some of those people, like the beat will be something that they haven't rapped over, but the verse will be something that they have done before.
Yeah.
But it's like it's still, I mean, you're still putting like if Graham decided to sing Hard to See over something that's in the same key, and same key, same tempo, should, you know, and it has all the shifts in the same spots.
Yeah.
It should work, but it's going to feel weird as shit. So, you know,
yeah,
just as an example. But yeah, like it's still tough to do that. Like you are that in that way, it is a freestyle because you're like the beat that you pick for an album, like a track on an album.
Yeah.
You specifically pick it
because it vibes
with the way that, you know, again, it's kind of like the Wheat Kings thing where like verse 1 and verse 2 is different from each other, but you need a beat that kind of like syncs both of those together and makes them work. Because you might do the first verse and it sounds good, but then by the second verse you switch up the flow a little bit and it just doesn't work with the beat. I mean that's why they do beat switches a lot of times, just to kind of like, because they'll find something that like shift wise works in the context of the song, and then it's like you can do that different flow thing that you were.
Is
thinking
Five
of.
Fingers of Death like a British show? Do you know that one? Where they have a DJ spin like 5 drastically different tracks. And they'll just like switch them up on them, so they'll do like tempo shifts and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know
while
if that's
they're rapping.
Is that a British thing? I thought I feel like I've seen something like that on.
I think it is
almost like I feel like I've almost seen something like that also on like kind of like a Sway in the Morning type thing, or like Hot 97 or something.
Oh, Sway does it too.
Yeah,
or maybe originally. But I'm picturing a different studio. There's this one that Brother Ali does where they're just like switching the beat up on him so drastically, and it's almost like there's even tempo changes, and he just feels them and just like locks into the new groove instantly.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Still saying relevant words. Like, we're talking here and we have to pause because we run out of shit to say because our brain's just like, well,
dude, there's so many times where I'm talking and I'm just like trying to scrape my brain for the word at the end of the sentence, and then I'm just like, I got to dump out of this sentence, I guess.
And sometimes you stick the landing on the last word, and there's actually a period at the end of the sentence you just said, and you're like, oh my god, I did it.
Yeah. Yeah, but those guys are just doing that every 5 seconds. That's so nerve-wracking. That's making me sweat right now thinking about it, and I'm not even doing it at all.
I was listening to a Lex Friedman podcast he was interviewing Gary Kasparov, like one of the world's great chess champions. And I'm just like, these guys have this deep, meaningful conversation, and they don't stutter, and they're just having these back and forths and stuff. And I'm just like, on my little chess app, I'm like I have like a 400 level brain, and Gary Kasparov has like a 2.5 thousand level brain. Like, that's how. And I know that chess is more than just how smart you are. It's not just, like, oh, however intelligent you are is how good you are at chess, right? You can spend time on it and learn opening traps and principles that will make you a better chess player, and then you can see these patterns playing themselves out, and if you've done them before, you'll be better at them. So it's not to say that the greatest chess player of all time is the smartest person who's ever lived or something like that. And who's to say if, someone like Einstein devoted all of his time to chess, if he would even be, one of the greats.
Yeah, right.
Right. I'm for sure he would be very, very good, but maybe there's something else in that chess player brain too. I'm just going to keep bringing
Scrabble kind of works like that too, because like when you play Scrabble as like a newbie, you automatically are like, okay, I just need to like kind of use the most amount of tiles that I can. But sometimes it's better, like if you keep getting crushed by somebody, sometimes it's better to like think about it in, like, that's the thing about chess is you have to think about it like almost like 12 steps ahead kind of thing.
Yeah.
But with Scrabble, like if you say you play a big word, somebody hits you back with like a big word that hits like a triple word or like a double word square, and then now you're like fucked and you're like 20 points in the hole, and it's just the first couple moves, right? And you're like, fuck, how am I going to catch up? Sometimes it's better to go like a couple sets of just 3-letter words, because then you're fucking that person over, and that unlocks like a later move that you can see coming. And that's kind of how like...
So it's not just who has the better vocabulary. I mean, there's also a huge luck component in Scrabble.
Yeah.
But yeah, to actually be playing the game of Scrabble instead of just trying to get the biggest words.
Yeah.
Just to show off your
the point
isn't to have the biggest vocabulary.
It's like I can get an 18-point word now, or I can play a couple series of like 6 points, and then that gets me over to
like
the
a
square.
45-point word
That gets me
and blocks something else that that they're trying to get.
Yeah. Because that's kind of how like, I don't know. There's so much shit like that. Like using chess as an example or Scrabble as an example. That's kind of how like like top level fighters. That's how they think too. Like they're not just thinking, okay, I got to punch this guy in the face immediately. Like they probably are thinking like on a, like you have to think of so many layers all at once. So you're thinking like, I got to defend myself in real time right now.
Well, it's like the Superman punch right off the top is equivalent to like trying a scholar's mate on like the 3-move checkmate that works on children and no one else, right? And then like leaves you in a stupid position, right? Like you don't try that against someone like that.
Whereas like like a top level fighter might be like, okay, I'm gonna go for like a series of like jabs and like a couple leg kicks to move this guy over here, and then I got him, and he's gonna be so you're going to be hoping that he's so in his fucking head trying to beat you that he's not even thinking about this move that you're making 12 steps ahead, and then now you got him fucked because he's pinned against the cage or whatever.
Yeah, like you could play it like really, really basic, just boxing punches for the first minute, and the guy's like, oh, I got this figured out, and meanwhile you're super comfortable throwing spin kicks, and then you throw that out and it comes out of nowhere, right? Or Nate Diaz does this thing where he does these weak little jabby uppercuts, so he'll like come at someone with just like a left uppercut like 6 times in a row, to the point where they're like, he's not seriously going to throw the same punch again, and he times it. He's watching for them to do the counter. So basically, he's setting up he's doing something that has a really obvious counter to it, and he already has the counter to the counter in mind. So he's doing it, and they're like, you can't seriously be this stupid. And they're like, okay, now I'll do it. And then they put themselves in this compromised position. Exactly.
Yeah, you're baiting.
Yeah, like hanging a piece in chess.
Yeah.
If that ever happens, you have to be like, okay, especially like you look right away at their rating.
Yeah.
Is this actually being given away? Did he like put that knight there and go, oopsie poopsie, that gets taken right away?
Yeah.
Or is he trying to get a piece of yours away from a position where it can defend another spot?
Yeah. And the other thing too is like, when you're playing like those types of games and stuff, like moving away from the fighter thing, because like so much of that happens so quickly, like you can't take that much time when you're fighting.
Yeah.
Or else you're either gonna gas out just by being on like this like, you know, high adrenaline level. You're gonna gas yourself, or if you've been defending, you're going to be gassing yourself. But like on a gaming level, you can't take that much time because, like, you know, ethically, like game ethics wise, you know, if you sit there for too long, people are going to be like, come on, man, make a fucking move, you know? Because it's kind of like shitty to do that. Just sit there all day and like think about all the things. So like those high level chess players and stuff, they can do all the math like in fucking like these are the possibilities, probably going there, so this is my best bet.
It's
right?
intuitive though too.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you
it's
do
like
it so many
don't...
times that it's just second nature.
Yeah, it's like they're like, this feels like a good move, and then afterwards they could explain everything, but they're not thinking about that.
Yeah, right.
It's just like, oh, this and those 1 minute games are crazy.
Yeah.
Like you have to be moving every second, and that's where it stops being. When I was saying like Einstein wouldn't necessarily be the greatest chess player just because he has a high IQ, it's like you have to have this confidence and in that you're picking probably the best thing, because in those unlimited time games where they just want to see who does I know there's no I don't think there's unlimited time games. I don't know how like the really high level stuff goes, but there are those games that actually go on for days, right? But in those, you know, the timing is a component. When the timing's a component of who, and a lot of the time, people will just win on time, and it can be, you can be down, but if you can be avoiding checkmate for another 39 seconds, then you won.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not a cool looking victory, but you won just the same.
Just, you know, semantics wise or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like you have to have the commitment to be like, this feels right, and just press that button after 2 or 3 seconds, because you're not just trying to win chess, you're trying to make your moves faster than the other person, and depending in those 1 minute games, that's the more important thing.
Yeah, like it's it kind of goes to that. It kind of goes to that overthinking and overanalyzing thing.
Yeah.
Where I mean, even you know, music wise, we do that on stage too. It's like when we were when we did that Deftones cover set, and just something happened, and we all realized immediately that I think it was in Hexagram, that something happened, but we all, I don't know if it was me. It might have been me because I'm like the pace keeper of the band. That's the role of the drummer. So it might have been my fault, but I don't know whose fault it was. It doesn't matter. But there's like the da 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 da. But we kept going on that for a while, and we're just like, how do we get out of this? Because like you're playing some shit live that you don't normally play. So like,
well, we learned like a whole set of Deftones music, not easy stuff.
Yeah.
In a week.
Yeah, right.
We had one rehearsal and then the show.
Yeah. So like you're like you go up with the confidence of all the other shows that you've played. Like you go up, it's not confidence, but it's just like not even thinking about it, right? Because it's just like, it's just another gig. But then you get up there and you're like, oh, this isn't another gig. I'm playing some shit that I fucking don't know, dude. And yeah,
that was a weird
but
gig.
The way we got out of it was not thinking about it too much.
Yeah.
Like you almost just kind of like, whether you guys made a conscious decision to do this or not, you're just literally like, the default is to probably follow me and wait for like a drum cue to like, this is the okay, all right, there we go.
Yeah,
we're out. So it's like, and like I'm waiting for me to do that too, you know, as the drummer. Like I'm like, fuck, how do I do this?
Yeah, and that might have been like, we went longer on that part because none of us were positive, but we know that it's more fucked up for us to go into the next part and have Graham not be ready and you playing the beat from the previous part.
Yeah.
Like, we're better off doing that part 7 times instead of 6 times because Deftones music is all sliced into like these just random
chunks
of bars, and they'll repurpose parts with the lyrics of other parts. So it's like, what was the chorus before is now the pre-chorus, and the verse is the will have the chorus lyrics on it,
right?
And that was one of the most challenging things, getting that song down, is because like what a part was to Graham was not what that part was to me, was not what that part was to you. So we couldn't even communicate on what's what.
Yeah.
Because our definitions didn't match. Our part, like our instrument's job was something else, was telling us that segment of the song was called something else or functioned as something different. Yeah. Change and was an example of that.
So and waiting for the turnaround is almost like making that like quick snap decision of like, okay, this is what we're waiting for kind of thing. And then there and like you go through all these like scenarios, and then all the worst case scenario is you stop the song. I hate doing that shit. Like I hate cutting it off. Yeah. But sometimes that's the best option. Sometimes the shit is so fucked up. Like especially if you play in a band that's like on a track or whatever, and just something is just wrong.
Yeah.
Like like a band like let's say like something like Radiohead or something. They got to be on some type of like tracking system with all their visuals and stuff. Yeah. If something gets really messed up, sometimes the winning move is not to play. So like you were saying, that last 30 seconds, sometimes it's better to just wait it out and then you win. You know, sometimes it's better to like stop the song for everybody's sake, the audience included. Yeah. Like because they're hearing it, it's like, wow, this is really bad. So it's like sometimes it's so bad that you acknowledge the bomb and kill the shit and just restart it because it's only 30 seconds in or something. But
yeah, I think you have 45 seconds maybe.
Yeah,
a 45-second window to do that, and then restarting becomes not an option. But it could also be an option to like stop and pretend that was a part.
Yeah,
and then. Yeah, I don't know. Music's just, it has a life of its own. This is sometimes when I'm doing music lessons, they get like weirdly philosophical, and I get into talking about how like the music becomes like a new entity in the room, and like we just summoned this thing, and it has a heartbeat, you know, it has a pulse. And if we stop playing it, that heart keeps on beating for a little while. It's still in our dimension, and the ghost of that groove is still filling this space, and we could even come back in. And that's something that's been demonstrated too, where like musicians' minds stay synced for a little while before and after they've started playing a piece of music.
Yeah.
Like there's even just like no count in, just like, all right, you 4 classical guitarists, you 4 cellists are going to play this piece. And then once they start, like their brains start syncing up around the piece. That's a life form. That is a psychic life form inhabiting that group of people. And then they start playing it, and then it inhabits everyone listening to it.
Yeah, yeah. Also, like, you know, top level musicians, it's like, you know, at my level of like amateur to like intermediate musicianship, I need a 4 count. Like I need like a, or well, what I like to do whenever I count in like Zero Fire songs, for instance, is I always do 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Yeah.
So I give myself quarter notes and eighth notes or whatever. But
you have a specific count in for every song that you do, and you do it basically like the same way.
Yeah. But like those classical musicians who play in like, you know, these big orchestras and stuff, this is also just like a training thing. So like it doesn't matter whether you're good at it or not. You're gonna have to be if you're on that level. But like the conductor gives you the up, and that's your count 1, and you're in, right? Like or whatever, or like a band like going back to like Radiohead or something. They would be able to like resume off of Tom being like 1, 2, like right in, like no,
or like if there's a word that's a pickup.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's like a break and then just like free time synthesizers and stuff.
Like you've played together enough times that you're like, the BPM is still in your head, and all it takes is going, and right? Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know. That is weird, man. Like I don't know. There's so much going on, I think. And this is like a layman's explanation for this kind of stuff, but like there's so much going on that we don't understand up here, especially in like a, you know, it's almost like if you know how you can get like those like Wi-Fi mesh networks for your home.
Yeah.
Like human minds are almost like that, where it's like where there's all this shit going on up top.
It's like you're streaming a song on Spotify and you're all the different Google Home devices.
Yeah. All connected and like playing it or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't think we fully, because like I think that we use more of our brains than we understand or could even comprehend, and there's so much more on top of that we still have yet to like evolve into or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this dude I'm a big fan of called Andrew Huberman, and he's a neuroscientist who specializes in vision, but he's all about just vlogging everything he knows on Instagram. He just believes that everyone should know all this stuff, and he tries to explain it in layman's terms. And he's very active on YouTube. He does a lot of podcasts and stuff. And can you say the last thing that you just said?
Oh, the thing where we use more of our brains than we know.
Oh yeah, and then he always says, well, when people say, oh, we only use, imagine we could use 100% of your brain. It's like you can imagine it. It's called a stroke. It's not you're not going to be using it. That's like saying, oh, like, oh yeah, well, I'm running my CPU at 100%.
Yeah, it's not a good thing.
Like that's not a brag. You want that number to be low.
Yeah.
To show that your computer's comfortably handling what's going on.
But it's
not
like
just like I got to put my pants on. Oh.
But it's like evolution works like upgrading your graphics card. like you expand the amount of like shit that you're able to do.
Yeah.
Over time or whatever. Yeah. Or like the amount of RAM you have.
Sound cards are huge. You think that you're experiencing a certain amount of the quality of a song. You're listening to YouTube on your phone, and you press that 1080p button, and then you hear that slight sound quality bump. Yeah. But then you listen to the same thing at 1080p on your laptop, and it's like there's stuff in the mix that you were not hearing before.
Yeah. We're at a minute 38. I feel like that, or sorry, an hour 38.
1 hour, 1 minute 38, or 1 hour 38.
Yeah, one
minutes.
1 day minute. 1 day minute.
Are you using 100% of your brain right now?
Yeah, 1 day minute and 38 seconds.
Yeah, I just shit in my pants.
Yeah, yeah. My mind just shit its pants.
That's Eric. He can use 100% of his brain.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't stop brain shitting.
I'm thinking about everything.
All the things is coming to me at once, and it hurts. It's painful. I want to go back to my level of blissful ignorance that I existed in. You want to wrap up?
I guess so.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was good.
All right. Yeah.
Good little convo. We got to get some more guests in here. Hey, if people have suggestions for guests, if you're still listening, fucking hit us up. If you're a new listener, hit us up on our socials.
Yeah. We check them. We get notified if something happens there. We don't post a lot, but we're
Constantly watching. We have analytics now.
we have exactly. I mean, we still have limited analytics. Do we have? I mean, we always promote the podcast on the podcast, which it seems kind of redundant because you're already here. Do you put out your snare ender stuff on the streams? People can check that out, right?
Streams
On the Apple Music and the Spotify and shit.
Oh yeah. I put a song out.
Just one song? I thought it was two.
Yeah, it was just one. I want to keep doing it, but I get really lazy. It's weird because like with COVID, like going into it, you're like, oh, I'm gonna have so much free time to do stuff and like be super creative. But also, there's something about like I've realized this by the end of it. Not that we're at the end, but like nuts deep in it. Like I've realized that like there's something about moving and like physically and mentally moving
that energizes
you and churns out that creativity. Like just sitting around kind of, because not that I even want to do that, but that's kind of what you're forced to do. I mean, you can take day trips and shit, but it's almost kind of like it's almost kind of like stalemated because like you can't go into places and stuff safely, or you feel weird about it, or like you really shouldn't be anyways, kind of thing.
It almost feels like as a creative, your creative output is almost fixed, and then you just have time for the stuff around it. Really, like if you're a creative person and you work a tough 14-hour day and there's just something gnawing at your brain, you'll sacrifice the sleep to get that thing out somehow. And if you are, if your job does not exist currently and you have that creative thing, you're still just going to make that one creative thing that you would have had you been,
but you also don't, but you
like
don't
that.
also don't have like the strain behind it that makes it passionate. Yeah,
you're like, I could do this anytime. What makes now so special?
Yeah, well, I'm not fighting myself for this. So what's the fucking point? I'm not killing myself to put this song out. But anyways, I put a song out on it's on like Spotify and all the anything through DistroKid, so Amazon Music and all that kind of stuff.
What do you search for that? Snare.ender or just snare?
It's just snare ender.
One word or two words?
2 words.
Let's see if
on those platforms, and then my Instagram is snare.ender.
And I'm also
you've got the Funny Boat stuff.
I'm sharing Funny Boat. I'm releasing Funny Boat music on December 11th.
Nice. Do you have to you have it on the platforms with the umlaut or no?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you have to do
F.
But it'll know if you don't do it?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
So if you just write, if you just search FUNYBOHT, one word, Funibocht.
Funibocht.
You'll find it. The single is called The Ballad of Pablo Honey Badger. Here, following Snare Ender right now. Oh, yeah. The Ballad of Pablo Honey Badger it's a singles package featuring 2 live off the floor recordings at Halo Music Studio in Hamilton.
Oh, nice. Didn't they get busted into or something? bunch of shit stolen from them?
That was Marconi's basement, his home.
That sucks, man.
Yeah.
We had him on the podcast. It was a good one. Go back and listen to that shit. And then
Marconi and George. He brought his little son.
Yeah.
His little son's bigger now.
That's how it works.
I think. I haven't seen him in a while, but
yeah.
I'm just making an assumption.
Keeping going.
Yeah. People tend to do that for some years, and then.
All right. But the what's the Instagram? At the Michael AM Radio Show, right?
Yeah, follow us on Instagram, and then maybe we'll. I should
post every once in a while, and then there's there's a Facebook too.
Don't be fooled by the fact that there's no clips. I mean, there's no clips from like the last 9 months. We're
working on it.
It's just been. It has felt like anything we'd have to say would be irrelevant.
Yeah.
So. And now I don't think we're saying anything relevant still, but now the boredom has
it's kind of gone full circle.
The best of us. Yeah, we're like, okay, we might as now the boredom has sunken into this ambient sense of dread.
Yeah.
So now it's like, oh no, we're all gonna die, but also you got to do something.
Yeah. It's like bored anarchy. Like I want to overthrow my boredom.
Yeah, so the Michael AM Radio Show, all one word. Oh, here's a story I did talking to. Yeah, see, when is this? August 1st. This is after. This was clever. I was asking creators and consumers of content. Maybe we should do this episode next. Do you remember this post I made on the socials?
Yeah.
And I wanted to call a few people because everyone's, we have a lot of, creative dinosaurs right now. People born in the pre-internet age like ourselves, and then we're kind of navigating the wild west of how to make a living as, people who create intellectual property. And that's, not to... Like Logan Paul filming dead people in the forest is still intellectual property, even though there's nothing smart about it, right?
Yeah.
It's just that we're taking stuff out of our heads and projecting it to the world and somehow turning that into an income or hoping to. So I was just asking in this social media post, and I actually got a lot of responses to that too that I was looking forward to sharing, but it was, like I said, it was a scary, strange time, and now we'll maybe get back to it. I don't like making promises because then we'd take off for like another 6 months or whatever, and then the listenership grows from us
somehow
not making
it's
making
like a fungus. Like spores.
We cut off all its oxygen, so it's bigger now.
Yeah. We removed all things that should make it grow, and then therefore it's larger now.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to your favorite fungus, the Michael AM Radio Show. Listen to Zero Fire and Funny Boat and Snare Ender, and
do drink water.
I was actually. I'm gonna call you out on this in public. You guys have to finish that Hot Fix album.
Yeah, we're working on it slowly.
Are you though?
So we are.
I bet it's already done.
It's basically done.
Who's holding it up? Point a finger.
Kind of Quentin. But
okay.
but it's the same thing that we're just talking. Like, it'd be so hypocritical for me to blame him right now when we were just literally talking about. Well, we haven't done the podcast in 6 months because we have all this free time, but no motivation. It's like it's the same thing. I get
Hurry
it.
up, Quentin. We're trying to tour on this.
Yeah, we're trying to pretend we're trying to put it out.
Didn't you guys officially break up already?
Touring is like, yeah. Well, we're not officially, I guess, but like
I thought you
we aren't
posted
really
about
doing
it.
anything. Well, we might have actually. See, I don't remember, man. I have fucking amnesia. Like I don't remember the last 9 months at all. About to have a thought, maybe, because I've been going through fucking 9 months of amnesia gestation, and now I'm about to shit out some fucking brain spawn. So,
all right.
Anyways,
thanks for listening, peoples. Have a good rest of your day.